What the hell happened to the place I built with my own 2 hands? Gordon James muttered to himself as he stared at the quarterly reports spread across his desk. 9 fitness centers across the state. 9. That was supposed to be the dream scale, impact, community. But complaints were up, member retention was down, and the last straw was the voicemail from a longtime member saying, "This doesn't feel like the gym you started, Gordon." He leaned back in his chair, rubbing his temples. He hadn't been to some of the locations in over a year. Too much travel, too many meetings, too many layers between him and the floors he used to mop himself when he opened Store 1. Somewhere along the way, he'd lost sight of the day-to-day, so he made a decision. Gordon was going undercover. He picked the 4th location, one of the busiest. The reports looked fine, but something about the manager's emails felt off, too polished, too perfect. He had never met the trainers there himself. Most were hired after the expansion, and with corporate in place now, he didn't do final interviews anymore. He showed up late Monday morning, wearing a hoodie, old sneakers, and a fake beard that made him look like a scruffy ex-athlete trying to get back in shape. He even added a slight limp and glasses to throw people off. The front desk girl, maybe 19, didn't look twice at him. "New sign-up?" she asked. "Yeah, I just moved to the area," Gordon said, adjusting his glasses. "Saw the place online, figured I'd check it out." She gave him a clipboard. "You're lucky. Free orientation session today with one of our trainers. You get a tour and a light workout. Perfect." Inside, the gym was spotless. Music was pumping. Equipment gleamed. On the surface, everything looked fine. "Greg'll be with you in 10, the front desk girl said, nodding toward a tall, muscular trainer leaning against a squat rack, scrolling through his phone. The man, Greg, barely glanced at Gordon when he came over. "You're here for the intro thing?" "Yeah," Gordon said. Greg didn't shake his hand. "All right, let's get this over with." They walked the gym floor. Greg pointed lazily toward machines, rattling off names and sets without enthusiasm. Gordon played along, asking questions like a clueless newbie. As they passed the treadmills, a woman in her mid-30s was jogging, sweat pouring down her face. She was overweight, but clearly giving it everything she had. Gordon slowed, watching her with quiet respect. Greg didn't. "See that?" he muttered, voice low. "Every new year it's the same. People like that show up thinking they're gonna lose 100 pounds in a week. She'll be gone by February." Gordon blinked. "What?" he asked, just to be sure he heard right. Greg shrugged. "I mean, good for her trying, I guess." "But it's a waste of time. This place isn't a charity." Gordon's jaw tensed. "You say that to her face," Greg laughed. "Hell no," I smile and nod. "But come on, man, look at her." The woman stepped off the treadmill, breathing hard, wiping her face. She caught Gordon's eye and gave a shy smile. He forced one back, heart pounding. Greg turned away and muttered, "Beached whale trying to run a marathon." Something in Gordon cracked, but he kept his cool. Barely. The rest of the session was a blur. Greg rushed through a few machines, checked his phone twice, and ended with, "You can sign up front if you want, or not." Gordon left without saying a word. Outside in the parking lot, he sat in his car, hands gripping the steering wheel. His stomach turned. He'd built this company to be a place where everyone felt welcome. He used to train clients like that woman himself. He knew how hard they worked, how much courage it took to even walk through the front door, and now one of his trainers was mocking them behind their backs. Gordon didn't sleep that night. He came back the next day, same disguise. He watched quietly from the corner as Greg trained another client, this one a younger guy, fit already. Greg was all smiles, high fives, encouragement. Later, he saw the same woman from yesterday stretching near the mats. She looked nervous but determined. Then Greg walked by. "Back again," he said, loud this time. "You're on a roll, just don't break the treadmill." She froze. Gordon stood up. Greg laughed and kept walking. Gordon followed him straight to the staff room. "Hey," he said, voice steady. "You got a minute?" Greg turned, annoyed. "Dude, I'm on break." "I know who you are," Gordon said quietly, "and I know what you just said to that woman." Greg narrowed his eyes. "What are you talking about?" Gordon reached up and peeled off the fake beard. Greg's face went pale. "No way, my name's Gordon James," he said. "I own this place." The silence hit like a punch. "I watched you mock a woman trying her damn best, twice," Greg stammered. It was a joke, man. Come on. No, it wasn't. You humiliated her in front of other members. You don't belong here. Greg started to speak again, but Gordon cut him off. You're done. Pack your things. The staff room door swung open. Ellie Harper, one of the other trainers, stood frozen in the doorway. She'd overheard everything. She looked at Gordon, then Greg, then back again. Is this really happening? She asked. Gordon nodded. Yeah, it is. Ellie didn't take her eyes off Gordon. You're really him, she said, voice low. I thought you were just another new guy. I was, Gordon replied. Until 5 minutes ago, Greg hadn't moved. His arms were crossed tight across his chest, jaw clenched. His confidence drained the second the beard came off, and now he looked like a man trying to weigh his options, but finding none. Ellie stepped further into the staff room, glancing briefly at Greg before turning back to Gordon. I'm sorry you had to see that, she said, but I'm not surprised. Gordon nodded once. How long has this been going on? She hesitated just for a breath. Too long. Greg finally spoke. You gonna take her word over mine? I saw it myself, Gordon said, and I heard it. You're done here. Greg scoffed and turned toward his locker. Whatever. This place was a joke anyway. You want to babysit people who don't belong in gyms? Be my guest. The locker door slammed. Gordon didn't look away. Ellie watched Greg leave, his duffel slung over one shoulder, jaw tight with spite. The hallway was silent until the front door clicked shut. I didn't think he'd ever actually get fired, she said. You reported him. Once, she said, to Darren. He told me Greg was rough around the edges but brought in good client revenue, so we should keep an eye on him instead of making waves. Darren's the manager, she nodded. He's in his office right now, probably has no idea what just happened. Gordon looked toward the hallway. How many other complaints did he ignore? I don't know, Ellie said. But I do know a few members stopped showing up after training with Greg. I overheard one woman crying in the locker room last month. She never came back. Gordon's jaw tightened. Walk with me. They left the staff room and headed past the cardio row. The woman from earlier was now sitting on a bench, sipping water from a refillable bottle, her face red but calm. She gave a small wave as they passed. Gordon returned it with a nod. Do you know her name? He asked. Angela, Ellie said. She started 2 weeks ago, comes in 3 times a week, always on her own. She's actually been making progress, but Greg never gave her the time of day. I'm going to speak with her, Gordon said. Can you get Darren and ask him to meet me in the conference office? She didn't hesitate. Right away. Angela looked up again as Gordon approached. Her smile was uncertain this time. Hi, he said gently. Mind if I sit? Sure, she said, shifting her water bottle to the side of the bench. I wanted to apologize, he said, for what happened earlier. She blinked. You heard that. I did, and I want you to know he won't be working here anymore. Angela looked down at her hands. I almost didn't come back today, she said, but I told myself I wouldn't let one jerk stop me. I've quit too many times before. You didn't quit today, Gordon said. That says everything. She glanced at him. Are you in charge or something? Gordon smiled faintly. Something like that, he stood. Keep showing up, Angela. You're not the one who doesn't belong here. She nodded slowly, her eyes a little glassy. Thanks. Gordon left her there and made his way to the small conference office. Darren was already waiting, arms folded, expression unreadable. Ellie stood near the door, quiet. Darren stood when Gordon entered. You're the owner. Gordon shut the door behind him. Yes, Darren extended a hand, but Gordon didn't take it. I assume Ellie told you what happened, he said. She did, Darren replied. Look, I know Greg could be difficult, but he had some of the highest client retention last quarter. No, he didn't, Gordon said. I checked the numbers last night. They were inflated. He was cycling through new clients every few weeks, covering it up by overbooking returning clients who weren't actually showing up. Darren blinked. That's not what he reported. I know, because you didn't verify, you just read his sheets and took them at face value. I had no reason not to trust him, Darren said defensively. You did, Gordon said. Ellie gave you one. Darren glanced at her. I told you I'd talk to him. You didn't, Gordon snapped. You let it slide because he made your job easier. You didn't want to lose a trainer, so you let the wrong one stay. Darren opened his mouth, then closed it again. You've been in this role for how long? Gordon asked. 14 months. And how many performance reviews have your trainers had? He hesitated. We do verbal feedback once a year. That's not a review. That's a formality. You're not managing this team, Darren. You're maintaining it. There's a difference. Gordon looked at Ellie. How many trainers are on staff? 5 now, she said. 6 before today. Anyone else a problem? She shook her head. Not like Greg. Everyone else is solid, overworked, but solid. Gordon turned back to Darren. What happens if someone's sick? We shuffle or cancel sessions, Darren said. How many hours a week are your trainers working? Ellie answered. Most of us are doing 35 to 45 on paper, but with prep and cleanup, it's closer to 50. Gordon exhaled slowly. And how often are breaks enforced? Darren looked uncomfortable. We don't always schedule them. The idea is that trainers can take breaks between clients. Unless there are no gaps, Ellie said, which happens a lot. Gordon sat down. Darren, I'm going to be honest with you. I trusted this location to run with integrity. What I saw today tells me that trust was misplaced. Darren shifted in his chair. I understand, I'll do better. No, Gordon said. You're stepping down, effective immediately. Darren froze. You're firing me. I'm replacing you, Gordon said. You can stay on as assistant manager if you want, but this team needs stronger leadership, someone who listens. Ellie's eyes widened slightly. Starting tomorrow, Gordon said, you'll be acting manager. If you want the role permanently, you'll need to earn it. But I've seen enough to know you care about the people in this gym. That's a start. Ellie didn't speak for a moment. Then, I won't let you down. I know you won't, Gordon said. Darren sat in silence, staring at the floor. Gordon stood. We'll be bringing in a floater trainer from another location to help with the schedule. And I want written reviews on every trainer within 2 weeks, full evaluations. If someone needs support, we give it. If someone's coasting, we fix it. No more looking the other way. Ellie nodded. Understood, he turned to her. One more thing, reach out to that woman Angela. Offer her 2 free personal training sessions. With you, I'll cover it. I'd like that. Gordon opened the door. The gym buzzed quietly beyond it. Music still played, weights clinked, lives continued moving forward. But the air felt different now, cleaner, closer to what it used to be. He stepped out and walked the floor slowly, watching people move, stretch, sweat, each one fighting their own battle. And this time, no one was laughing at them. Ellie walked the gym floor with a clipboard in hand, eyes scanning the schedule grid. She wasn't used to this view, leading instead of following, but she moved with purpose. The shift was subtle, but the energy in the room had changed. Trainers glanced her way with curiosity, 1 or 2 with cautious optimism. No one had said much when Greg failed to show up that morning. It was just after noon, and Gordon had returned unannounced, this time without the disguise. He wore a plain polo and jeans, blending in just enough while still turning heads from staff who now recognized him. He wasn't there to make a scene, he wanted to observe how the new structure held up under pressure. Ellie caught sight of him near the stretching area and made her way over. I've got 15 minutes before my next client, she said. Want a quick update? Walk with me, Gordon said. They moved past the dumbbell racks, keeping their voices low. A teenager was struggling through a set of push-ups a few feet away, his trainer crouched nearby, counting each rep with patient encouragement. Darren's officially taken the assistant role, Ellie said. He didn't fight it. He shouldn't, Gordon replied. How's the team responding? Cautious. No one's complaining, but I can tell they're watching to see if this sticks. Good, let them watch. Consistency will do more than any announcement ever could. They stopped near the back hallway where the bathrooms and employee break area were located. I talked to Angela, Ellie said. She was hesitant at first, but I convinced her to schedule a session. We're meeting Friday. Make it count, Gordon said. She's the reason this all came to light. I won't forget that. A door opened down the hall and a young man with a maintenance badge stepped out, wiping his hands on a rag. He looked up, startled to see Gordon. Mr. James, he asked. Gordon turned to him. Yeah, I'm Lewis. I do evenings here, but they called me in early because the front showers are leaking again. I sent 3 requests last month, but I guess they got buried. Thanks for jumping in, Gordon said. Who's been approving maintenance? Lewis scratched the back of his head. Usually Darren, but it's hit or miss. Sometimes I just fix things without waiting because otherwise it piles up. Ellie looked at Gordon. I didn't even know we had a leak. Lewis shifted awkwardly. It's not just that. The AC in the spin studio cuts out mid-session some nights. I've flagged it before. How long's that been happening? Gordon asked. Since early spring. I think a fuse is overheating, but no one's checked the panel. Gordon paused. Send the full list to my assistant. I'll have someone from HQ facilities here tomorrow. And going forward, you report directly to Ellie. Lewis nodded, surprised. You got it. As Lewis returned to the service hallway, Gordon turned to Ellie. Add monthly maintenance checks to the calendar. I don't want stuff like this slipping through. Understood. They headed back toward the main lobby. A mother and daughter were at the smoothie bar, the girl still in a gymnastics leotard, sipping something pink through a straw. A small sign said protein add-in, $1.50 in faded lettering. Gordon turned his attention to the front desk, where the same young woman from his first visit, Ari, was flipping through the membership binder. A man in business attire stood nearby, arms crossed, lips pressed in irritation. I've been charged twice this month, the man said. I showed you the statement. I know, Ari said. I'm just trying to find the manual override code. It's been doing this since we updated the system. Gordon stepped in. Problem with the billing software, he asked. Ari looked up, startled, then caught herself. Yes. Ever since the rollout last month, some accounts double charge if the auto-renew overlaps with a promo window. I've reported it twice. How long does it take to fix? Usually I just refund it manually, but the override code changes weekly, and Darren was the only one with admin access. Gordon turned to the customer. We'll fix it right now and credit your account for the trouble. The man raised an eyebrow. Are you the manager? I'm the owner. That diffused things. The man relaxed slightly and accepted the refund slip Ari printed once Gordon bypassed the code using his master login credentials. After the man walked off, Gordon leaned on the counter. How often does this happen? He asked. Twice a week, sometimes more, Ari said. And the front desk doesn't have the authority to do full reversals, so we usually just tell people to wait for a callback. Not anymore, he said. I'll issue you and the other front desk staff limited admin access. If there's a mistake, you fix it. No delay, Ari blinked. Okay, thank you. You've been handling this solo. Mostly. The other receptionist quit last month, said the stress wasn't worth the pay. Ellie stepped forward. We're down to just Ari during most shifts. Gordon looked between them. That's not sustainable. Post the job listing again and bump the rate by 15%. Offer a weekend shift bonus. We need full coverage. Ellie nodded. I'll take care of it. Ari gave a small, tired smile. Thanks. Gordon checked the time. I'll be back again next week. But I don't want anyone waiting around for me to fix things. If something's broken, speak up. If someone's struggling, step in. Ellie straightened. We will. As he turned to leave, a familiar voice called out from the stretching mats. Hey, Angela waved, holding a rolled-up yoga mat under one arm. Her hair was pulled back, face flushed from effort. I just finished a class, she said. It was tough, but I made it through. Gordon smiled. How'd it feel? Better than quitting, she said. He gave her a nod. That's what matters. She walked toward the exit, shoulders a little higher than before. Gordon took one last look around. The gym was still finding its rhythm again, worn at the edges but beating stronger. The real change would take time, but it had started. And this time, he'd be watching. Gordon arrived just after 7 the following Friday, entering through the side entrance to avoid drawing unnecessary attention. He wore no disguise this time. Staff knew who he was now, but he wasn't interested in formalities. He wanted to see the early rhythm of the gym, the quiet hour before the morning rush fully kicked in, when the floor told the truth more than reports ever could. He paused near the treadmills. One was cordoned off with orange tape, a maintenance tag zip tied to the handle. Lewis had already been through. A good sign, proactive, not reactive. Ellie spotted him near the training desk and walked over, carrying a small tablet and a half-full protein shake. We've got a full slate today, she said. 3 intro sessions, a corporate wellness group at 10, and Angela's coming in at 11. She's sticking with it, Gordon asked. Ellie nodded. She booked her own sessions for next week, too. Didn't need convincing. Gordon glanced toward the studio windows. How's the team holding up? We're stretched, but people are stepping up. I moved 2 part-timers onto rotating weekend shifts. That helped ease the load midweek. He nodded. Any pushback? Not really. I think people just needed to see that someone up top is actually paying attention. She tapped the screen in her hand. I've also started tracking session feedback in real time, just short notes after each client. Not formal reviews, but it helps spot patterns early. That's good, Gordon said. Stay ahead of the curve, she hesitated. There's something else. What is it? 2 of our trainers, Harper and Malik, told me they've been covering cleanup shifts after hours because the night crew isn't finishing their checklist. They didn't want to complain, but it's been happening for weeks. Trash left behind, mats not disinfected, weights out of order. Who's on nights right now? Only one person, Trey. He started last month. Quiet guy, but I've seen him leave early twice myself. Does he clock out when he leaves? No idea, Ellie said. The system doesn't flag early clock outs unless someone's scheduled past midnight. Gordon pulled out his phone and opened the operations dashboard. He filtered to the cleaning logs. Trey had logged full shifts all week, including 2 nights when footage showed him walking out before 11. He looked up. He left early and still logged full hours. Ellie crossed her arms. Want me to talk to him? No, Gordon said. I will. He waited until 10:30 when Trey was scheduled to clock in. The young man walked through the back door wearing wireless earbuds and carrying a messenger bag over one shoulder. He barely looked around before heading straight for the staff room. Gordon followed him in, closing the door behind them. Trey turned, startled. Oh, hey, you're Trey. Yeah. I usually work nights. I know, I'm Gordon. Trey blinked, then slowly nodded. Right. I checked your logs. You've been logging full shifts, but security footage shows you leaving early twice this week alone. Trey shrugged. I mean, I finish what I can. It's not like there's anyone checking. There is now, and leaving early while logging full hours is fraud. Trey looked away. It's just a few minutes. No, Gordon said firmly. This isn't a misunderstanding. You've been skipping work and lying about it. Trey opened his mouth, then closed it again. You're done here, Gordon said. Clean out your locker and hand in your badge. Trey didn't argue. He left silently, head down. Outside the staff room, Gordon found Ellie walking a new member through the strength machines. She finished up quickly and joined him at the front desk. Trey's gone, he said. He was falsifying time logs, no warning, just gone. Ellie exhaled. That explains the mess, post the opening today. And until we fill it, I'll cover 2 night shifts myself, she blinked. Seriously, I built this place, he said. I can mop floors. Across the room, Angela walked in, gym bag slung over one shoulder. She gave a small wave and headed toward the stretching mats. Gordon turned to Ellie. Go train your client. She smiled and nodded, heading off. By early afternoon, the gym buzzed with steady activity. The corporate wellness group had finished their session and lingered near the smoothie bar, chatting and laughing. A few trainers were resetting equipment, wiping down benches without being asked. The floor looked tight, efficient, focused. At 3, Gordon gathered the staff for a short meeting. Just the trainers, front desk, and Lewis from maintenance. They sat on benches near the turf area, water bottles in hand, some still in post-session gear. I won't keep you long, Gordon said. I just wanted to say something face to face. He looked around at them, faces tired but engaged. When I started this company, it was just me and a handful of clients in a single-room space. No front desk, no software, just hard work and word of mouth. I knew every name, every story. He paused. But we grew. And somewhere along the way, I stopped seeing the details. I let reports replace reality. I let problems slip through because I wasn't here to see them. No one said anything, but a few heads nodded. This past week, I've seen what you deal with, how much you carry. How often you pick up slack without complaining because you care about the members and each other. He looked at Lewis. You fix things before they break. At Ari. You calm people down when the system messes up. At Ellie. You stepped up when someone had to, and you made this place stronger. He gave them a moment. Going forward, we're making some changes. Maintenance will report directly to the manager, not through corporate chains. Front desk staff will have limited admin access to handle real issues in real time. And trainer hours will be capped at 45 per week, no exceptions. If we need more people, we hire them. No one burns out on my watch again. Ari raised her hand slightly. Can I ask something? Of course. Will there be a way to report problems anonymously? Not just with coworkers, but if something's off with management too, Gordon nodded. Yes, I've already asked HR to roll out an anonymous reporting system. It'll launch next month. She nodded, relieved. Gordon stepped back. You're the heart of this gym. I won't forget that again. And I won't let anyone else forget it either. As people stood and returned to work, Ellie lingered. You meant what you said about covering night shifts. I'll be here Sunday, she laughed. You're really not kidding. Nope. He looked toward the cardio row where Angela was finishing a cool-down walk. She stepped off the treadmill, wiped her brow, and stood straighter than she had all week. Ellie followed his gaze. She's not the only one who almost gave up. But she didn't, Gordon said, and neither did you. He picked up a towel from the floor and returned it to the rack. Let's keep it that way. Outside, the sun was beginning to set, casting long shadows across the parking lot. Inside, the gym kept moving stronger, steadier, and this time aligned with the values it was built on.